Let's start with the announcement that you're now able to add corrective notes to videos, and this is something that I learned from Renee Ritchie over on Twitter, which is always something I find super interesting. I learn about features, I learn about YouTube news, I learn about issues on Twitter, and not on YouTube. YouTube really should develop better communication methods on their platform so I don't have to use Twitter to get this information, because I don't want to, I guess X, I don't want to use X. But Renee Ritchie, who is the YouTube liaison, put out a tweet a couple of weeks ago, and in this tweet he said, "Not enough creators know about corrections, but they're a great way to add a pop-up and quick text fix to your videos." Then he provides step-by-step instructions on how to add corrections to your video. Number 1, sign into YouTube Studio. 2, from the left menu, select Content. 3, click the video that you'd like to edit. 4, in the description, start a new line of text and add correction : or corrections : Please note, this trigger word must currently be in English, regardless of the language of the video of the rest of the description. 5, then on a new line, add a timestamp that corresponds to the beginning of the first error in the video. Next to the timestamp, provide a text explanation of your correction. 6, repeat on new lines for additional corrections. I also want to point out that Renee responded to MKBHD and he said, if you have chapters as well, put corrections after them. That is all the information that I got off of Twitter, but I tried it out on the last episode of the BSP. Everything seems to be functioning properly. It works as it should. I did notice a little bit of a quirk though. When you're adding your timestamps, for instance, 00:00, if you add a space, then a dash, then a space, then the correction, this feature did not work for me. So in order to get this to work, I had to say 00:00 space and then type the correction. Adding the dash made it not function. So I just wanted to point that out in case you are trying to use this feature and it's not working for you. Don't add a dash in between the timestamp and the correction. But when you have this enabled, when you add a correction, a card pops up in the upper left or right hand corner. I can never figure it out. And it says view correction. Then when you click on that card, it will open up the description and scroll down so that you're able to read the text-based correction at that portion in the video. I think this is perfectly fine. It's a decent implementation. Is it my favorite? No. As far as corrections, I think the best way to implement corrections was the old annotations feature. I understand why they don't do that. Annotations is where you would have a text box pop up on the video, and it kind of forced a viewer to see what the correction was. The reason I'm saying I understand why they don't have that anymore is if you were on YouTube 2015 to 2017 or 18, you came across videos that abuse this. It was way too easy to abuse to promote stuff, to say, hey, check out my new video, go to this website, do this, and you would have videos that were completely covered. The entire video was covered by these pop-up annotations. Made for a terrible viewing experience on certain videos, but I do think that was the best way to add a correction because it didn't have any additional actions for the viewer. This is a second best in my opinion. The third best would be adding a pinned comment saying, hey, correction. But having this pop up on the screen say, hey, there's a correction at this part in the video, it's good because now somebody knows there's a correction, but the reason it's number 2 for me is it takes a click from the viewer, and as soon as you add an action to the viewer, it's gonna be less likely to be effective. But I still think this is better than nothing. I still think this is pretty good, and I still think it's awesome that YouTube continues to develop. They continue to make these new features and let us know about them. And I think this does make it better to be a creator or a YouTuber, because one of the most anxiety-inducing things about making YouTube videos, especially tech videos or information-based videos, is getting something wrong. And if you don't have an effective way to let people know of incorrect information that needs to be updated, that can cause more anxiety. So having the ability to add a pop-up that says, hey, something's wrong here, click here to find out what it was, and you can see the correction. I think that's a positive for creators, for YouTubers, and for YouTube and viewers, for everybody involved. So I think it's a good thing, and not my favorite, but I understand why this is the method that they have landed on, because it's less likely to be abused and make for a horrible viewing experience for people watching YouTube.